Alright guys, big deal here. Gonna do something a little bit different on the channel. I know normally you come here for the my adventures kayaking and hiking in the outback of Utah, but and then some of you are here for actual trains. Do something I've been spending a little time on. This game is called Transport Fever 2. It's, of course, the sequel to Transport Fever, which was the sequel to Train Fever. Kind of a Eurocentric game, but they do have some American options, and through the magic of Steam, we have a lot of American options now, such as these beautiful Central Pacific and Union Pacific locomotives, date from the 1860s. So, anyway, this is, we're at Kaibab City. This is my Kaibab and Western Railway. This world is a one I created that is based off of, it's not actually based off anything. It's actually a generated map. I didn't create any of the terrain, but all my locations are named after places in Arizona. So, take a look here. This is the Kaibab and Western, effectively on January 1st, 1900. Got a little bit of double track leaving Kaibab City here. Go by Kaibab Grain, sorry. Take you right through the trees. This is Tucson Hill. So this was our first stretch of railroad on the Kaibab and Western. This actually climbs all the way. Ooh, hey, redundant signals. So climbs up out of Kaibab to Tucson. This is our first segment we ever built. It was originally built as a single track railroad. Kind of rebuilt this bridge twice. But I try and keep the grade down low. One of our passing sidings here on the non-double track section. Section here on the left was the original line. I built this afterwards to create the create a siding. Got our grain train coming back to one of its terminals. Came up here, followed this valley through a horseshoe. Again, this was all to keep the grade constant. This is one constant grade, really, all the way from Kaibab Grain there. So, comes up here into Tucson through this deep cut. Probably a little more than what a real railroad would have, but originally my Tucson station was built up to be a lot bigger. So, yeah, so that's the first segment. In fact, I realize that one of the things I'm trying to do is keep a portion of the railroad to be like you would have in the western United States. So we're not going to have sweeping stations like you can build in Transport Fever, which there's nothing wrong with. But I'm not going to have giant underground tunnels, at least not in 1900. So we're going to head and so people can access the platform the Kaibab Flyer's using. Go ahead and put in a couple crosswalks. Again, I'll probably actually, I have the King's Cross station downloaded. Has bridges. I might use it, I might not, but this will allow for my passengers to reach that island platform. Oh, that's a there we go. Keep that. Again, all my stuff's named after, for the most part, Arizona locations. Donny Park is an Arizona location, but I just recently changed the name to Rio Verde. So here's Tucson. This was originally supposed to be the headquarters for the railroad when I originally built it. And there's a grand station. It actually ran to the terminal here, and I've completely realigned it. So it's supposed to be a stub-in station. Now it's a run-through. So anyway, this actually wasn't the first extension of the railroad. This is one of our later extensions, and you can kind of see it. It follows more the more bridges, more terrain. Comes into this valley. Got a few bridges. Right now, using kind of the stock wooden bridges. Actually, no, those aren't even stock. Those had to be added into the game. And I just realized, hold on a second. Do you stop at Tucson? Wait, yeah, they do, because I just... Oh, but that doesn't go in... Okay, never mind. That doesn't go into Kaibab. Probably should eventually. Although I'd have to increase the number of trains running on it. Here's one of the freights. This is our Manifest Kaibab de Verde. He'll haul any and everything. Right now, hauling some steel out. There really should be some goods. Guess the factory's not producing like I want to right now, which actually there is a lot. So must have already done it. Give you an idea what we got here. These are some of those beautiful Central Pacific and Union Pacific locomotives. That's a 260 or a 460 coal burning one. Is it 460? Okay. Anyway, so here's the terminus line. This is Camp Verde. I'm sorry, Rio Verde. So got it down here. You notice I'm using the Deadwood train stations for most of my passenger stations, other than the big one at Kaibab City right now. A little more American than some of the other ones. Here's our shuttle train, which I need to reset the name on again. In fact, let's actually follow this real quick. Speed it up. Go take a look. Make sure it picks up those goods. Deposit back at the station so I can get transferred. And I overbuilt this station. Damn it. Okay. Let's take a look. It requires steel and it requires plastic to be able to feed this thing. And good, it picked it all up. Good. So, of course, here's the chemical plant that creates the plastic. And then here's the steel that produces steel for just that. It's also apparently going elsewhere onto the system. It's fed by this little, call it an insulated railroad. So you have an iron mine here. We call it Red Mountain. Wouldn't be surprised, obviously, if there's a place in Arizona called Red Mountain. But you got Black Mesa coal. So this is kind of named after the famed Black Mesa, which is on the Navajo Nation. Big coal mine that was there that fed the Navajo Generating Station, and more famously the Black Mesa and Lake Powell Railroad. So plan is to eventually, this will be electrified. It'll be one of the few electrified lines that I do have on this railroad, and when we get the, of course, E60s, we'll be using those. So that takes you, again, that's the end of the Rio Verde line. Probably eventually I'll realign it, go up this canyon around here, and back into Tucson, get away from some of the bridges and cliffs. A little more, go with a little more natural flow of a railroad. Really trying to kind of do a somewhat realistic railroad. You can see what some of the stuff that Goat Rodeo Gaming's done. And I just checked out his one of his latest maps, his realistic Western Railroad, and it's pretty epic actually. There's a lot of stuff in there. So here's the Tucson food processing plant, which uses grain. I'm currently using grain from two different locations, one from Kaibab down at the bottom of Tucson Hill here, and another one near Marble Canyon. So we'll go ahead and make our way back that way. So Kaibab City. It's really kind of neat. I had originally built a turning loop. This was actually, town didn't extend beyond much of this, so I had the turning loop here in order to make it look like I turned trains. Because some of my original incarnations of the trains that go to Coconino, I actually got them to use it. Now it kind of uses a switching lead. Also allows trains to go both directions out of the Kaibab City engine house, but got it set up to be able to feed, instead of having trucks coming into town, we're using these transfer stations here. So use those to be able to get freight into the city. Basically, we don't care. We don't need trucks. Just like you would have had a kind of a switching network in these towns back in the day. Like here in Albuquerque, you have the Sawmill Spur, which goes back about a mile and a half. Some big sawmills, but had a whole bunch of industry sidetracks. Here's our train, the Yampai. This is the Marble Canyon train. This is actually a little scoot that just runs between Marble Canyon, which is town right over this saddle right here. Going to kind of use it eventually in the future as basically a suburb to Kaibab City, so be able to either run, I might be running subways. Obviously, that's going to be kind of a thing. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Doing this decade by decade right now. So this is the Coconino line to Topock. This is the originally we went through here up to Coconino. That's going to be the first city. So our train on the line is, of course, the Coconino. And right now we do have it led by Sierra Railway number 3. Slow down the speed so you can get a look at it. There you go. Beautiful locomotive. Realized my modification from the original, what I had done for the paint on it, didn't carry over to my new computer, so I have to either find it or redo it because there were some problems. Be glad to show that off later on. So, and you climb up. We'll go up here. This is climbing up into Coconino. So, Coconino, couple of horseshoes here. Probably overbuilt this station. Oh, I did use the King's Cross bridges here. Probably a more realistic thing than tunneling for a station this size. Well, we don't want people running across 4 main tracks to catch their train, so for the time being, that's eventually I've got plans for this line. This is all going to shrink, so eventually, but you come down Coconino Hill here. We're going to drop back down into the river valley. This is actually the same river, essentially, that was down near Rio Verde. Perhaps we'll call this Rio Salado. For those of you in Arizona, you know the Verde River flows into the Salt River, which, well, of course, then it flows into the Gila, so maybe this is the Gila. Steel mill here feeds our machine factory up there. I probably got the spelling wrong, but Maniqua, and I probably just butchered it, is not an Arizona location. For those of you who have semblance or knowledge of Colorado railroad history, Maniqua is a little station outside of Pueblo, which fed the Colorado Fuel and Iron, which is built most of the steel rail in the western half of the United States. So a little homage to that. So it's fed with both a coal train and a conveyor belt from here on the other side of the river. And this line comes up here to Topock, where it terminates. Same thing. I got a couple little industrial switching leads. And for right now, instead of using a regular engine, I'm using some shays that I got off the Steam Workshop. Actually spent a good chunk of time realigning this. Originally, the station was along here, with the branch. Actually, this line was closer to the river, so I realigned everything, and it looks like it's taking root again. So, but it gives a nice terminus station to it. And actually, the station's big enough that it actually feeds most of the town. So, not too much freight is being actually hauled from Topock to our Topock industries here, but big old sawmill at the end of the line. So, in fact, let's see here. Okay, good. We're not overflowing. So, that's the end of the Topock line. So we'll go back all the way to Kaibab, to which we have the line to Marble Canyon branches off. So, little feeder town I plopped down. Stoneworks here that feed this brick factory. Oil that goes to fuel for Topock. And then we have the Yampai line, which terminates in Flagstaff. Yampai is the highest point between Seligman and Kingman, Arizona. So, Yampai Summit. From there, it's all the way, almost downhill, all the way into Kingman. If you're riding Amtrak, actually, it's downhill all the way to the Colorado River. So, come up here, cross over on this wooden trestle. This will probably get filled in with some fill, if not realigned. Maybe a curved trestle. Once I get to a point, the 1920s, where I can use the Meatball Heroes beautiful North American Bridges pack, we'll be using that. If not a little bit sooner, and then just say, but well worth the download. If you haven't already got his bridge pack, it definitely adds some more North American bridges to the game. So, climb up here to the summit at Yampai. So here's the town of Yampai. And from there we drop down and skirt the edge of these cliffs. Whole bunch of railroad on stilts like the Camas Prairie in Idaho. And we get to Flagstaff. Not quite the city in the pines like our normal Flagstaff, Arizona, but it's up there. Probably actually same elevation as Yampai, but got a Y here, be able to turn trains. So yeah, so that's right now that's the full extent of the Kaibab and Western Railway. So we'll if you guys are into, like I say, transport fever, we'll keep going along. I run a Mac, so unfortunately we can't be like Heist and show railroads online all the time. Looks like it's fun. I haven't got to play it, so but yeah. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, if you really like this, really click like and subscribe. But if you also, you'll take a look. Oh yeah, hey, this just dropped. It's a working roundhouse, guys. Got some of my fleet stored in here. Kind of they're out of service right now. Really should have them on the garden tracks here, but this is actually part of the Madrid station pack. Let's take a look here. It is. And you can see some of the stuff I don't use. Is the Madrid station here. There's the turntable, but here's the station you can build. Built in the 1880s. There's a terminus for the Madrid station. It's I mean, actually, like I say, I'm trying to keep everything kind of American. But this could actually, if you look at some of the old stations, like Sacramento they had a train shed, like kind of like this. Probably, obviously, I'm not going to use it. I really only downloaded that just to get the turntable. So, yeah. So, again, thanks for watching. We'll kind of progress. Like I say, I'm trying to keep everything quasi-American. You can actually, I mean, right now I'm a little early. I'm using semaphore signals. I not really a fan too much of the wooden smash boards or whatever you want to call them that Transport Fever has. Um, but try and keep the train signal just like you would on a normal railroad. Kind of run an ABS system since Transport Fever doesn't allow for CTC, which on some of my other incarnations of other routes I've done, it's kind of funny trying to run a modern era railroad and you run an ABS on. So definitely doesn't. One of the limitations of Transport Fever, it just does not dispatch like a real railroad would. Don't get me wrong, ABS works fine. We've been using it for 100+ years, especially here in New Mexico. But yeah, it's definitely not how. It's definitely not a positive here in Transport Fever. So, all right, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Big Deal out.